Hi, it's Christopher with Flourish Yoga, and we are back again with our Yin Quick series, which is 3 poses and 1 oil to work out one of different meridians. And so this week it's all about the stomach and the spleen meridian, and our oil for this is the Zen Jest or Digest Zen blend. Okay, so grab your oil. We'll chat a little bit about what it is that goes right or in balance with this meridian and what goes out of balance. And then we'll hop into our poses super quick here. So I'll leave this here so I remember to use it. So the spleen and the stomach meridian. Okay, actually let's take a hold of this, and while we're talking about it, we can be putting it on and exploring those. Take a couple drops in your hand of your Zen Jest or Digest Zen. Take a nice deep breath in. Kind of nice spicy aroma to that, a little licoricey. And then coming up, so the spleen meridian starts on the, so I get this right, on the inner edge of the foot, comes along, so then the big toe, kind of that inner side, comes up through, like around the ankle, up through that inner leg, and then through the pubic bone, up towards the spleen. The spleen's on the left side a little bit, and then it goes up across the chest, and then up, and it ends at the back of your tongue. Okay, the stomach meridian starts at your alongside your nose, just under your eyes. It goes down, and then there is a branch that loops back up, and then there's a branch that comes down all the way again down through the chest, through the stomach, and then this one goes along the top of the legs, and it ends up at that number 2 toe. Okay, so one of the points, you want to put this oil right in here. This is one of the main stomach points for that. You can massage that in there. And if you have a little bit there, also just, rub that right over your stomach area. Okay, so signs that this meridian is out of balance is any sort of like stomach digestive, upset through that, especially, gas, bloating, and acid reflux, anything going on along that, and eczema, rashes, allergies. So if you're suffering from some allergies or some sinus infection, that type of asthma, those can all be the stomach and the spleen meridian. And just a feeling of discontent, just not being happy, not being satisfied. If you're having food cravings, those food swings, that's another area that's going to come into this, and we'll talk about that why in a moment. And areas that it's in balance is that you feel balanced and control, you're getting stuff done, you're able to take things in and process it. All of that is signs of you feeling really creative. That's a sign that this one is in balance as well. Okay, so our poses today, we're going to start off with dragon pose. Okay, we're going to hold each one for 3 minutes. Move my props off. You may want blocks for this. You may want to have a blanket handy, a couple blankets handy. And that should be all that we need for our poses today, okay? So in dragon pose, you're going to take 1 foot forward. I'm starting with my left foot forward. And that if you do that, then we just can stay consistent on our sides, because we are going to switch back and forth a little bit here. And then you're going to take this other leg back long, set your knee down. Okay, just kind of find that comfortable place where you can bring your weight forwards, okay? And in this one, you may even want to just bring it even further so that you doesn't have to line up with your knee and your ankle, as we typically do in regular yoga. So I'll move that away so you can see. And so your knee might come a little bit further. What we're looking for is this stretch, through the groin area. You're going to get a stretch through the top of the leg, through that back leg. Okay, so we're working on that right leg, stretching through that whole top area, and that's connecting right into the stomach meridian. Okay, I want you to take a nice deep breath in, lifting up tall, deep breath out as you sink down, and allow your belly to relax. Allow your stomach to be soft. And this is where you can either hold, your hands on your knees, you can have them on blocks beside you, whatever height that feels right. You can take your hands all the way to the ground, or maybe even bending your elbows all the way into the ground. That's not possible for me today, so find what is comfortable for you, because we're going to be holding this for 3 minutes. Pardon me, let me get my timer going. so we don't hold you longer than 3 minutes. Okay, nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just remember to soften the stomach. You're holding your muscles, or your bones are kind of holding you there, but you're not using any effort through the muscles for this one. You're just allowing the body to relax into it. So yin can be a little bit intense in that way, in that we're just allowing our body to hang there. And so you can get some really deep, deep openings. And I always, there's different philosophies on the yin, and that you can go prep things fairly strongly and like really go into it. Or I like to take just a nice moderate, subtle approach and just allow that opening to happen. So going to the edge of a stretch, this is an Eric Schiffman teaching that you just want to feather into it, right? You just want to go to the beginning of the stretch, and then with each deep breath in and deep breath out, just allowing yourself to release a little bit further. Breathing in and breathing out. And with these yin series, I like to just have a little bit of a mantra perhaps with the breath. And so our stomach meridian and our spleen is all about digestion of food, right? It's where that primary organ of digestion with the stomach. And if it's out of balance, it means that we're not digesting, anything that's coming in, whether that's food, whether that's any of our sensory inputs, whether that's information, whether that's new relationships, anything like that. If there's so much coming in and we're not properly, assimilating that information or digesting it or making sense out of it. And this is where we can start to get into even feelings of depression in this one, and just that feeling of lack of motivation because there's just so much coming in. We can't deal with it. And so it ends up with a lack of appetite, and or we start to overeat sometimes. We're just use food to compensate for that inability to find contentment there. Okay, a couple more deep breaths in here. Breathing in and breathing out. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to move into the next pose. We're going to do both poses on one side, and then we'll switch over. So this front leg is simply going to walk across the mat, and it might come slightly down. So depending on how flexible in the hips, you may go straight across and set that leg down, or you might find it a little bit easier to bring the foot in slightly. So this is going to be sleeping swan, or in regular yoga, it's pigeon pose, but in yin, it's called sleeping swan. And you may find it nice and comfy to have a little bit of support there under your hip. Feel free to do that. I want you to breathe in nice and tall. Good, just feel that opening. Just give a little bit of a stretch to that front of the stomach. Good, and then breathe out as you release, coming down. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to release this out a little bit. Move myself back so I'm on my mat. So here, I want you just to rest the stomach again. So allow the stomach to be heavy. And this is a place where you may want to have that block there in front of you to rest the forehead. That feels super juicy. Or you can take your hands down and rest all the way down to the floor. I'm going to step a little bit while I chat at you here. So just breathing in and breathing out. So now you might feel a stretch on the groin on the front leg side, and then through the inner leg on the back leg side. And we'll get our timer going. Good. Okay. So deep breath in and deep breath out. Breathing in and breathing out. So as you're breathing in, you're taking in, right? You're bringing in more into the body. As you're breathing out, just let the body release, relax, and process. So breathing in, taking in, breathing out, relax, and process. Breathing in, drawing in, and breathing out to digest. Good. Just noticing where you feel the activity in this pose. There's no right or wrong. Just make sure that your legs, your knee is not feeling too much tension in this pose. If it is, you can flex that front foot to make that a little bit easier. Or go into a reclined pigeon pose, which is on your back. Nice deep breath in and deep breath out. And just noticing, are you able to have that period of processing? When we go into this pose, is your mind racing? Does it want to leap ahead to the next thing? Or are you okay just to be here, to relax, to let go, and to process? Good. Just one more deep breath in. And deep breath out. And then I'll have you just slowly unwind from this. And before we go into the other side, let's just take stock. So you're going to bring your knees together. Just slide your hips back towards your knees, coming down into that child's pose. You can either have your forehead on your fists or take it all the way down to the ground. And just take a couple of breaths there. Just noticing the difference between the two sides. Good. And then we'll do the opposite side. So your other leg, your right leg for me is going to come forwards. Again, you may want to have those blocks in there. Your back leg, you're just going to start to bring your weight forward so your knee can be down. That's just a bit more relaxed in this. You're just drawing your weight forwards in our dragon pose. So you can have the blocks there. You can have your hands on your, this is almost a nice variation here too. You get a little bit extra weight, kind of bringing that forwards. Or if you can go down a little bit deeper, doing so. And again, there's no activity, so we're not trying to like press into our big toes or anything like that, like we do in our Yin Yoga, regular yoga. We just want the legs to be soft. We're just allowing, so using your arms to support you and hang out here as you gently create this opening. So again, we're into that top of the leg. So stomach meridian. Breathe in, breathe out, allow your stomach to relax. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Just hold this for same as our other side, so about 3 minutes per pose. And just notice if things start to bubble up emotionally or internally. We've got some gurgles going on there. And just allowing yourself just to gently seep into this pose. Just not going to your max to start off with, but just gently allowing the opening to happen. Just noticing that benefit of time and space to allow things to grow, to flourish. Good. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. You're going to take those blocks away for now. And walking that foot across your mat, so either straight across if you're super flexible, or drawing it in slightly more towards you. That back knee goes down just back a half step. I like to take it back, especially because in this pose, we're looking for that just gentle opening on the inner leg. That's the spleen meridian, and then through the groin as well. And then you can bring yourself down to wherever that feels comfortable. Actually, before you do that, come back up for a moment. Just take a nice deep breath in just to open, feel that stretch up through the stomach area. And this one here, you want to draw that back hip a little bit forward so that it can just be relaxed down there. So it's even and grounded. And then just start to bring yourself down. Resting your forehead. That's one of those key pressure points, those acupressure points of relaxation. So when you can rest your forehead on something, it just helps your body to relax a little bit deeper. So while you're in this one, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this oil that we put on. So this Zengest blend, or Digest Zen in the US, it contains anise, peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, and fennel. And it's one of, I just loved reading that when I was teaching an Ayurvedic workshop, that it has all of the, or many of the herbs that we would use Ayurvedically for soothing the stomach. And whether your stomach is too hot or too cold, they work in both directions, right? So it helps with either one of those. And it's just a magical blend for helping to process and helping to ease that discomfort of what happens there. So it's one that you can use internally. I love to sip it as a tea, or placing it on as we did on your belly. And one that I've learned just recently is you can actually diffuse it. I always think of this one as like the internal belly oil. But if you're having a hard time just processing things and making sense of things, put it in your diffuser, and it will absolutely help with that mental processing as well. Good, nice deep breath in. Check my timer here. Good, deep breath out as you settle into that. Just noticing how this side is different perhaps. And using that breath. Breathing in as we take in. Breathing out to digest and make sense. Good, deep breath in, taking in. And breathing out to digest and make sense. And just holding this for a few more breaths. Finding that place of ease. Allowing your belly to be soft, to be heavy. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Good. One more deep breath in. And then breathing out. Good. And then just slowly, mindfully bringing yourself back out of this pose. And our last one that we'll do is just a gentle child's pose. And so this is one you can do totally unsupported, or if you'd like to have a little bit of support to make that more restorative in nature, feel free to grab either a bolster, a couple of blankets, and then you can fold yourself all the way forwards on this one, or if you want to have that little bit of support, you can draw the knees slightly wide to have that in place. I'm going to go for unsupported on this, but I'm going to put just a little bit of a support there for my head. Okay, releasing down. Forehead goes on the block. Just let your shoulders round down. So in child's pose, you're just having that gentle pressure on the stomach and the spleen. The spleen is an organ that we don't understand a lot, but it supposedly contains a blood supply, so if you need it in an emergency, it's there. It helps to process our red blood cells and our white blood cells for our immune system. So you can see where this starts to play in. If this is out of balance, we start to get this inflammation or these allergic, inflammation responses. So whether that's an eczema, a rash, or sinus congestion, all of these inflammation responses that are related to digestion. So nice deep breath in and deep breath out. Breathing in to take in, breathing out to digest. Just allowing your hips to be heavy, and your shoulders to release down. If you have your head to one side, you can turn your head the opposite direction. We have just a couple more breaths here. Just tuning out the outside world, allowing yourself just to process, have that time and that space. And then just slowly lifting yourself all the way up. So there are many oils that support our stomach and our digestive process. A few of the main ones in terms of, so this Zengest is a beautiful blend that kind of brings those all together. And a couple of other ones to highlight is this lemon sassy, really good if appetite control is one of the big things that you're working on in terms of either, poor appetite, it's a good motivational type oil, but also suppressing those cravings. It's a really good one for that. Great herbs on the heating side of digestion there as well. Bergamot is our oil of self-love, and so just allowing ourselves that relaxation response, or that element of being happy with who we are, that contentment. And then peppermint is our oil of buoyant heart, right? Peppermint is a great oil for soothing any sort of acid reflux, heartburn, digestive issues, and it also just helps us to be happy with what is. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed that little mini practice. Again, these are great to do, first thing in the morning. This would be a great little series for then. A midday break if you just need that little bit of a boost, or before you go to bed. You might be feeling super relaxed now, and a nice, just easy way to ease in. So those 3 poses don't take very long, and just start to notice what comes up with that. And this is part of a larger class that I do called Ease, and we can explore that one another day. All right, enjoy this, and we'll pop back in with another series in the next few days. Namaste.